pencil lead, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. All right, I think we're on the air. Hey guys, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and we're located just right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Anyway, welcome to the show tonight. I think we've got some interesting things. Katie is with us. Bill Brown, our master of high altitude balloons, is with us tonight. We're going to talk a little tonight about Hamcation in Orlando, and we're going to get Bill's advice on some things and some reports on some things he's doing. And then I'm going to show you a lot of the new equipment that I had to buy to start building the new tracker for our next balloon. So we'll be talking about that probably a little later in the show. But anyway, we're on shortwave on WBCQ on 5130 kilohertz out there. If you're listening out there on the show or to the show, please send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com, and let us know where you are and how you're hearing the show tonight. Also, if you have internet capability where you are, you can join the show, the live show, and watch the video and check in on the chat room. And all you have to do is just go to w5kub.com and click on a little button at the top right that says live video and chat, and that'll bring you right into the show. So we'd welcome you to the video show if you can make it. Like for everybody to join our Facebook group. We've got a ham radio Facebook group for the show. It's called Amateur Radio Roundtable, or simply it's just called W5KUB. And we're getting close to 9,000 hams in that Facebook group now. Talk about any kind of thing you want to about ham radio in there. It does follow the show a lot with a lot of information to help you know where we're going, what we're going to be doing, and so forth. But post your pictures in there of your shack, and Katie and I will pull those pictures off from time to time, and we'll show them on the show. Let's see, I'm forgetting something. Oh, last week, if you tuned in last week, hopefully some of you guys did. It was a rerun last week, but it was a great show. I think we had Martin Jew on last week. But Katie and I and others, we were all down at the Orlando Hamcation last weekend, and I didn't make it back for the Tuesday show. I ended up on a cruise ship, and I think I was in Jamaica or somewhere that night. I was going to try to get in a chat room, but I completely forgot about it until Wednesday. You lose all track of time on the cruise, especially if you go up and get your ice cream like every hour. That's kind of cool there. So hey, that's kind of where we are tonight. The only thing I came back with, basically, we came back Sunday night. Monday morning, I was getting a sore throat, and I feel like I've got a terrible cold. So hopefully it's not the coronavirus, it's just a cold. I haven't had a cold in a long time, but don't feel real good. Let's bring in our remotes here and see what is going on out there. So let me take it over to, let's look and see what we got here. Well, I don't want that one. I want that one right there. Up, what? Up? You're gonna get my germs. You're gonna get the germs there.
I don't know if you're sick, Tom. I better, cover up here.
Achoo! All right, man. All right. Well, how you doing, Katie? Good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a whole week. What have you been doing there? Bill's got his mask on.
Florida, so it was great to see you and Kathy down at Hamcation, and at least have a couple of minutes to visit. And looks like you guys had a good time, and hope you had a nice time on your vacation. Sorry you came back with some crud. I actually seemed to survive Hamcation without coming home with a cold, just worn out. Old bones it's getting harder to do these long conventions. Takes me a whole day at least plus to recuperate, but
I tell you,
it's worth it because it's a lot of fun.
Well, going down, we went through all that major storm the southeast had. It was terrible. A lot of turbulence, delays we got there. And then, hey, guess what? That was the weekend that all the cheerleaders, let me get my picture up here. See if I can get that up here. There we go. That's the weekend that all the cheerleaders in the United States go to Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
So our whole airplane was full of cheerleaders. And, we're in there to get our baggage. They throw 3 bags off that were on our airplane. So everybody's about to revolt, riot, and so forth. And what happened was they took our bags with all the cheerleaders to some hotel somewhere.
Oh, no.
So we waited for hours and hours to get our bags. So anyway, but we had fun at Hamcation and on the cruise there. And you look like you're doing good. You recovered okay.
Yeah, I've had a chance to recover and just, settling in back into a routine here at home and getting some good exercise in with snow shoveling every day, because pretty much every day we're getting more snow. It's getting pretty darn deep out there, and it's kind of at the point now that our driveway, I just can't even keep up with it. It's just always has a layer of snow on it, and you just kind of clean off the top layer. That's winter in Wyoming for you.
Oh, man. Well, okay. Well, Bill, what have you been doing lately? First of all, I know one thing. I know one thing, Bill. You were supposed to go to Orlando, and you chickened out.
Yeah, it was the bad weather got us.
Yeah.
And didn't want to drive through tornadoes and all that stuff to get to Orlando. But I'm sorry I missed out. It sounds like it was a great show. Yeah,
and I hope you got some feedback. Bill asked me, I think that Friday, Bill asked me if I would do his forum for him. So, hey, I said, yes, I can do it. I hope I did you well there. I followed your presentation. I think I know, a lot of the stuff, so I think it went well.
According to my friends that attended the forum, you did a great job. So thanks for filling in for me. And my friend Doug Neeson, K6STS, was there.
Yep.
Showing some of his balloon experiences and equipment that he uses. In fact, he just launched one of his. He just launched a balloon today, and it's out over the east coast of Florida.
Yeah.
So it's he's using one of those very inexpensive clear Chinese balloons that I think you're planning to use for your next flight.
Yeah.
And he just used a single one. It's flying pretty low, 23,000 feet, but he did achieve a float with it, and he's on his way. He launched it from Ocala, Florida today. It's K6 Sierra Tango Sierra-11.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to get deep into balloons with you, and even some of the stuff that I've got probably toward the last half of the show, or last third or whatever, depending on how much time Katie takes to talk about Hamcation. But hey, guys, we're going to talk first with Katie about Hamcation. And the sad thing is, Katie and I don't have any pictures to show you tonight. We didn't make many pictures, but we have all these images in our head. So
that's right.
so we should. Hey, Katie, we should be able to talk about that. Let me. I'm going to take Bill off the screen here just for a second. There we go.
Hi,
Put
Bill.
you on there.
And maybe
get me off
we
of here.
share our brain cells.
Yeah.
With everyone.
So I was going to say, we have all these pictures embedded. So now this picture is a picture of Katie and me, and I think
it was
Ricardo.
Kathy.
Katie and wasn't Ricardo. I think Ricardo was there.
Yeah,
so that's what this picture is. You guys visualize that. There's me, there's Ricardo, and there's Katie. Okay, so I've got it started with the format, Katie. So go ahead and tell us how it turned out. Yeah, hey, we did stream it on Saturday, so Yeah,
okay.
if anybody wants to see some pictures, just go to I don't know, go to last weekend on our YouTube on our YouTube channel, whatever the week of it was the 10th, I think, February 10th is
Hey,
the date,
hey,
or 9th.
you said to warn you about
Oh
this.
man, did I get,
I just
okay,
noticed it. The
yeah,
light, there it goes.
okay, so you can go and see that. What we did, we recorded a lot of video on Friday and we streamed it on Saturday. So you can see some of the show if you just go back and look at the video from last week. And hey, I do want to answer one thing. There was one thing in the chat room that said they saw that I won a prize. And yeah,
Yeah.
hey, I put 250 tickets in the pot, and I think I won an $8 ARRL book. Now I don't have anything against ARRL, but it'd be nice. It would be nice to have a little bit, bigger prize. Joe,
You definitely didn't get a good return on your investment on that
no,
one.
we're not going to talk about Joe. I think he
Oh.
won handy talkies and HF rigs, and I don't know what all he won. I didn't even want to talk about him.
Yeah, he won a ICOM HF rig, and then he also won the Yaesu FT 3DR, which I was really jealous about, and then a couple of other things. But he came to see me before he put all of his tickets in, and he had one of those canvas shopping, grocery bags.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, it was just, packed full with all of his tickets. I'm like, well, you're bound to win something with that, and he sure did good. That's for
He
darn
always
sure.
does good, and he puts
I know.
250 tickets in just like I do. There's something crooked going on, I think.
Well, I told him I needed to, maybe rub his belly like a Buddha for
Yeah.
good luck. And he said, actually, people have done that at his local club who know him, kind of as a running joke now. So they're like, I'm about to put my tickets in. I'm going to come rub Joe's belly.
Well, look at here. We've got Neil. We got Neil on here. W5NED. He won 100 tickets from us from the show, and he won a Anytone dual band 50-watt mobile rig. Gee whiz.
Nice.
And then while I was up there, I saw Mickey. Mickey won something, and I sent him an email. I don't know what Mickey won, so
Oh, good.
so that's interesting that some of our winners actually won prizes.
Oh, good.
yeah.
That's really kind of cool to see. So, yay. Good job,
Yeah.
Neil. Well, enjoy that. That should be a fun radio to play with. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I've seen you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of the neat things I got to do while I was, obviously, I was there for work. So, I was really busy and doing a lot of variety of different things. And you probably will see some of it coming up soon on the Ham Radio Outlet Facebook pages and maybe YouTube page. But I had a chance to stop by the AMSAT booth and talk with Clayton, the new AMSAT president. And we follow each other on Twitter, and I see his posts about all the different activities he's doing, but I had never met him in person. So it was really fun to be able to stop and have a quick visit with him and talk about his plans for the future and what he'd like to accomplish. And it's pretty exciting. He's a nice young guy, and by young I mean like in his 30s. And they had a pretty active booth going on over there. I didn't get a chance to see any of the presentations, but I was really happy I had a chance to finally catch up and actually meet Clayton in person and have a visit. That was a lot of fun.
All right, hey Katie.
Yeah.
I want you to keep talking. Remember where you were. I'm going to take about a 1-minute break here.
Okay.
If you hear a noise that sounds like gunshots, it's not gunshots, okay? We're having the kitchen remodeled, and they're blasting up tile floors, and it's pretty loud, so I need to at least close the door or something. So
Okay,
go ahead.
close the door.
You got the show until I come back, and I'm going to turn my mic
Okay.
off.
I see you rubbing off on me. I had to rub my nose here. Pardon me. Okay, so let's see. While Tom goes and shuts the door so we don't hear the housework going on over there, also had a good time. Of course, I was working at my job for Ham Radio Outlet and saw quite a few people. It was a lot of fun. Some people I got to meet for the first time, and others that I get to see every year, like Ricardo KV4OP. I actually put Ricardo to work to help me out a little bit when I was out doing some filming out in the open area. And when Michael was on talking, Michael, the chairman for Hamcation W4MCA, talking about some of the new food vendors. Oh my! We tried out. Dwayne and I were there, and we tried out it was the steak on a stick van. I'm not exactly sure, but I got an Italian sausage, and it had sauteed onions and peppers. So good. And I think Dwayne got a steak sandwich, also the sauteed peppers and onions, and yum, really good food. And ended up, as we were walking around trying to find, there was like I think at least two new tents with tables under them for people to sit at while they're eating or just sitting and visiting. That was really nice, because it used to be in the past you didn't really have too many places to eat, and it gave you a break out of the sun. Although on Friday you kind of wanted some sun. It was quite cool and breezy. But on Saturday it was gorgeous out, and we were walking along looking for a place, and someone kind of patted the table, so we went and sat down. And it was actually a guy named Steve, who is in North Carolina right now but relocating to Denver. And I'm sorry, Steve, I'm forgetting your call sign at the moment. But had a lot of fun visiting with him, and he and his wife are really excited to move back out here into the great part of the country, the Rockies. And he's already signing up for the convention that we're hosting out here, the Rocky Mountain Division Convention. That's going to be in August. And so it was kind of fun talking with him. And then we saw Dave Sumner, K1ZZ, and actually went to the Florida Contest Group dinner on Friday evening, where Dave was the guest speaker. We saw Ellen White, W1YL. It was a great treat to see Ellen again. And like I said, Hamcation's always a lot of fun. Ran into Glenn, of course, KW5GP. Ran into Glenn a few times. And hi, Glenn. It was great to see you there. You're looking terrific, and glad to see you up and about and doing your thing there. Sorry you didn't win any prizes, though. Oh, looks like the boss is back. I think I finished making up enough stuff to talk about.
Can you listen closely? Can you hear? Can you hear any noise? Listen. They're not doing anything.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay. Well,
I think we're okay.
I think we're okay. All right. So did you tell them all about it? We had fun. The weather was good.
The weather was good. The food was really good.
Yeah.
I was just talking about all the new seating areas they have outside now, which was really nice. So, and I really liked one of the tents that had big round tables. So it was really easy to sit, meet new people, and visit. It's a little harder in some of the picnic tables, just easier to get in and out of those. But really nice setup, and that was an excellent addition to the outdoor area, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hey,
Okay.
I saw Mickey said something about what he won, but I didn't see it. Anybody can tell us what Mickey won? He was one of our 100 ticket winners. So.
Right. He said he didn't make it, but he did win something.
Yeah, he sent his friend out, I think, with the tickets. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we had a good time. It was busy. We'll have to get the Hamcation guys back on here and recap it here real soon. Oh, hey, look here, Mickey won an FT70D handheld.
Oh, nice.
Man, look at this.
That's
I'll tell you what. You know what? I think Mickey started watching the show when he won that Comet CAA 500 analog a couple years ago.
Yep.
I think he's been a true a watcher of the show ever since, man. And he keeps winning prizes.
Well, obviously he's learned the trick and just sticks with us.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right.
Don's saying something also. Can't tell if he won a prize, if he also won that, but that's great. That's a nice little handheld. So
yeah.
I hope you enjoy that, Mickey. Glad you won something. Yay.
All right.
I know what I was going to say is a thank you again to all of the volunteers for Hamcation. As Michael has said in times when he's been on the show with us, that it takes about 250 volunteers to run Hamcation all weekend. And, everyone is full of smiles and helpful and happy to be there. And just a huge thank you to all of them for making everyone feel so welcome and enjoy our time at Orlando at the Hamfest. And Hamcation's a great one to go to. So if you've never been and you're thinking about it, put it on your calendar now. It's always in February. And you can't beat Orlando in February, I tell you that. Lots of things to do besides the Hamfest. So save the dates now, whatever they may be. We'll have to look them up. But definitely consider going to Hamcation next year.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Are you going anywhere between now and May, the Dayton deal? Do you got any Hamfest you're going to?
Well, let's see. I might go to the swap and auction in Rapid City this coming Saturday. Depends on the weather and what's going on around here. And let's see. I don't think I really have much else on this schedule, at least not that I know of. So for now, it looks like I'll just be doing lots of work getting ready for Hamcation.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see you there, and our friends Jason and Josh and all the other YouTubers. They're getting the booth next to us this year.
Oh, good.
So
Perfect.
we're all going to be kind of right there lumped up together, but that'll be
Great.
good to have them in there.
That'll be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, hey, good to see you again.
You too.
You look happy. You look like you're having a good time. You made it back fine, and you know,
Yep.
no troubles, and you know, no cold. You're doing good. All right.
Doing good.
Well, let's get Bill in here and see what's going on with the balloons. Now, I'm really getting interested in the balloons. So this is a subject I want to talk more about tonight. We'll have Bill on here, and I'll also be talking about what it takes to gear up to try to build this little miniature tracker that I've got. I know Bill is an expert, and he can handle these 0402s probably with his eyes closed, but it's small for me. Hey, Bill, how you doing, man?
Hi, Tom.
So
yeah, that's like trying to solder a grain of sand or a grain of like a
well, it
grain of
is.
rice.
It is. It is, and like I was telling Katie there. Of course, there's a picture of the board I'm building. That center board, that's the entire tracker with GPS and everything on it. And I tell you, I mean, I describe this as the chips on there. You could tie two of them on the back of a flea's back and still have room to put something else on there, man.
Oh yeah, that's very tiny stuff. I have a real fine tip soldering iron, a big magnifying glass that I look through, and very fine diameter solder when I deal with things like that size. And it's just, you just need to touch it just very quickly and not use a whole lot of solder. If you use really wide diameter solder, you're going to be in trouble, or a big soldering iron. I had one fellow, I used to offer a kit for one of my boards that I used to sell, and I gave all the parts and instructions, and it was all through-hole big stuff. And one guy sent it back and said, "It doesn't work. Can you fix it?" And when I got it back, there were holes burnt completely through the circuit board, big holes. And I said, so I called him up and says, "What kind of soldering iron did you use?" Said, "My wife's iron that she uses for stained glass windows."
Oh man!
One of those 300-watt 1,000-watt monsters.
Yeah.
And then another guy sent his back, said it doesn't work, and all he did was dab solder paste on all the solder joints. And I said, "Did you not heat it up or put it through a reflow oven?" He says, "Huh? It's solder paste. That's all you do, right?"
Yeah. It's kind of like epoxy.
These are
good, you know. And it's a hardener, and you know. But hey, you know, Bill,
But nowadays you really have to get experienced at surface mount to build just about anything, because there's through-hole components and things that are in sockets, they're going away. They're discontinuing them.
You know,
So,
Bill,
it pays to.
in 1970, I was in the Air Force in 1970, and they sent me to a micro miniature soldering class based on NASA standards. This is 1970. And they would, you know, you'd have to clean it with alcohol and all that, and they would actually inspect your solder joints with a microscope and grade you. But let me tell you, things have got a lot smaller in the last 40 years than it was when I took that that micro miniature, that's not considered micro miniature today, man. It'd be considered pretty big parts, to tell you the truth.
Now, that super cap, for example, that you had on your last flight, you had a pair of big super capacitors, right?
Yeah.
And that was, what, 3 farads?
Yeah.
This is a half farad super capacitor that I found that I use on my boards. And it is a flat pack, It's wafer thin. It weighs 0.8 grams, and it's point four, well, almost a half a farad. Just imagine 20 years ago how big this would have had to be
But that
to
right there,
produce that kind of capacitance. It would have filled my dining room table and weighed about 20 pounds.
yeah, it would, yeah. But hey, hold that up again. That looks awful large to me. That looks bigger than the board that I'm building, man. That's a pretty big.
It's about half an inch by 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, that's bigger than these boards. That's, yeah. So okay, well they just spread it out and made it flat. Okay.
This is compared to an SO239 connector.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's not very big compared to those cylinder cells that I know you used on your last one.
Yeah.
And those weigh a couple of grams or more, and this weighs 0.8 grams.
Let's see.
This is made by Murata. They're getting a little hard to find though, because there's problems getting them from China at the moment.
Yeah.
But I have a whole bunch of them. So if anybody needs one, let me know. So, anyways, everything is, when we're dealing with boards like you have, everything has to be as small and lightweight as possible. So you have to really think about on that whisper antenna. I use 36 gauge magnet wire for the dipole antenna, and then I use fishing line.
Yep.
This is my friend.
That's what I use.
15-pound Spectra.
The Spectra, that's what I used.
The stuff I get from
Yeah.
I get it from Amazon. You can buy this at Walmart.
Oh yeah.
But it's only green at Walmart. But I can get yellow and red colored. That's Power Pro, and it's 100% Spectra fiber, and it's woven so it doesn't spin or twist on you. And so then I do something else. I use Kapton tape.
Yeah, the Spectra there, I used it on our last one, but I used 50-pound test. I see you're using 15-pound, which probably is a little lighter, but even a 50-pound, 17 feet of it is not very heavy at all. I mean, it's like 0.5 grams or something, you know.
Yeah, well, this is what I use. I use the 15-pound when I make the magnet wire antenna, and some people just fly the magnet wire draping down, but I tend to catch on things when I launch, or you have to grab it and reel it back in, and if you try and do that with magnet wire, it's going to snap. So anyways, this Kapton tape, you can get this on Amazon, and it's really handy stuff, and it's high temperature, moisture resistant, and I had this on a pair of solar panels that ended up in a field in Minnesota for a year. And they finally, a farmer found it after one of those Minnesota winters, and the tape was still holding the panels onto my brass tubing, and it was in perfect shape as far as the tape went. Actually, the solar panels still work too, but this is great stuff, and it's about $6 a roll. I usually use the 3/8 inch diameter stuff, and but I tape the magnet wire to the fishing line. And so I actually, when I send these out to people, I tape it about every foot, and then I put it onto one of these. This is a little dollar spool of cheap line I get from Walmart, and I use this as a way to wrap up the antenna wires before I ship them out. So that's a safe way of protecting them.
You know, Bill, on the last one I launched on the dipole, instead of taping it, I felt like, well, if I tape it every foot, the tape's going to have weight to it. You know, we're trying to cut weight everywhere. Like you said in your presentation, make it as light as possible, and then make it lighter, you know. So, but what I did, just about every foot or so, I just tied a little knot in the cord and just ran the wire through that knot, and of course, you know, you could move that wire back and forth in it. It wasn't like a knot on the wire, you know. Then I think I fixed probably the top and of course the bottom, but it had slack in it, little slack in it. So I don't know. Hey, somebody asked
Yeah,
me.
you want
Somebody
to
asked me the Spectra. Has anybody tested that Spectra at 60 below or minus 60 degrees Celsius? Has anybody hit it with Freon or nitrogen and see if it breaks? I mean, maybe we should test that. What do you
Well,
think?
actually, it was used. Spectra fiber was used in a around the world balloon that was going to see those kind of temperatures. So it was going to fly in the jet stream as a manned mission, and they were using Spectra fiber in one of the big monster balloons. So
Okay.
it's good stuff. And
Well, you know,
it will handle those
Bill,
kind of temperatures.
you've launched many, many balloons, from the party balloons to the SBS-13, the expensive balloon, and so forth. And of course, that's what we launched last time. And we wanted to try to go for the long haul, and that's why we went with the SBS-13. And that balloon is about $180. It's pretty expensive. And we made it to, Africa, and then we lost it. And I know you launched a SBS-13 balloon a few weeks ago for the Athens Amateur Radio Club. And of course, it got dark right after your launch, so the last tracking you had was over Alabama, and it's never reported again. So what do you think happened to it?
I think it probably hit a storm out over the middle of the Atlantic. There were a lot of large storms out there. So even flying at a higher altitude where you're above more of the weather, you really want to be around 50,000 feet to avoid everything, or 55,000 feet. And we just don't have the balloons available to us with the weighted payloads we have, even with that really lightweight one you're building there, to make it to that altitude. And once you get up to that altitude, you're going to go a lot slower anyways. So it's kind of a fine line.
Let me ask you a balloon technical question here. My payload on that SBS-13, it was pretty heavy, with everything on here and the super caps, and I went with the UV protected solar cell. The solar cell alone was 5 grams. That thing came out around 27 grams total.
That's pretty heavy.
That's pretty heavy. So we used 8 grams. We used 8 grams of free lift. But I felt like that balloon was probably big enough. It should have been able to take it up. You know, maybe we lost some altitude with, I don't know. But we were flying. We were flying at 41,000.
It should handle it. You used helium, right?
No, we used hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Yeah, and we've got all of our eyebrows and fingers. We still have it, so it was a successful launch. But yeah, we used hydrogen because, like I said, we were going for the long haul. We were going for the high altitude, the extra 2,000 or 3,000 feet. Hydrogen. I mean, you know,
with that extra weight, you probably lost a few thousand feet.
Yeah.
You would have been around 43 to 44,000 with a lighter payload. These are the solar panels that you were talking about.
Yep, that's that's 50 milliamp, isn't it?
This is the one that you use, the 4.8 volt.
Yeah, but is that the 50 milliamp? Is that 50? I can't see that. Was it 50 milliamp?
Well, it says 75,
Okay.
but it actually is working voltage. The working current is about 50.
Yeah, is that the flexible ones, or is that the UV one?
This is the flexible
Okay.
ones.
The flexible ones weigh about 1.5 grams each, and that same panel, UV protected, weighs 5 grams. Yeah.
See, that's how I do mine.
Yep.
With 2 on a brass tubing. These are the 3.6 volt panels, which is the little smaller version of the 4.8s. They're a little lighter weight. The reason I had to go with the lower voltage is that my current drain is not all that much, and so your voltage goes up in the stratosphere with the increased sunlight and the cold temperature in particular. The cells are more efficient when they're colder, and you can actually exceed the voltage of your supercapacitor if you aren't careful. So that's why I have to go with the lower voltage. These are rated at 3.6 volts, but my normal operating voltage, since I'm below their 50 to 75 milliamp rating, I usually operate around 4.5 to 5 volts.
Yeah. Now,
So this
again,
page,
it's pretty
this board
general.
weighs about 11. This is 11 grams as you see it.
Yeah.
This is the Whisper version. It's got 2 of the power film solars, which you can touch and flex, because when I go into schools and do a school event, the kids all love to touch the solar panels. And I use really lightweight brass tubing for the ground. It actually supports the cells. I use Kapton tape on the back. Actually, I have a reward sign on there. And so the brass tubing is actually the ground return. And then I just have some real lightweight hookup wire for the positive. I actually run these in parallel to give me my lower sun angles. And that super cap on the back, you can see that's the relative size of the super cap on the back.
Yeah.
That gives you, that stores the energy for lower solar angles, because we can't point these. I've tried twisting them like you showed me earlier. You might want to show your wraparound cell there. But you'll get voltage, but you'll lose your current capacity. So you have to. It's a during the winter in particular, when the solar sun angle is pretty low, it limits the latitude where you can operate.
Well, and that's one thing I learned on some of the other balloons that you launched for us. It seems like we had a very narrow window, maybe tracking 3 or 4 hours total for the day. And I'm thinking, what's going on here?
When you're at high latitude, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on here? And as I start studying this more, then I see that it's wintertime, and we're in the northern hemisphere, and the angle of the sun is low. There's a great site on here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't think I've got the right data in here, but for instance, this is New York, and for each month here, you can see each month on where the sun's going to be and what elevation it is. And if I can't. Let's see. It looks like hey, I don't think that's exactly right, because that's showing February 20th, like 11 degrees. I think it's probably higher. I don't think I've got the data in there right, but the sun is pretty low, actually.
There's a great website. It's ESRL. Actually, if you search for NOAA solar calculator, NOAA. Let me type that in. You can enter your latitude and longitude.
Right.
And it'll tell you exactly. It's called the NOAA solar calculator, NOAA solar calculator, and it's from the Earth System Research Laboratory. And you enter your latitude and longitude, time of day, and it'll tell you when sunrise, sunset, and your peak elevation of the sun, depending on your latitude and longitude.
So
that's what I use quite a bit for predicting how high of latitude that my board will operate for time of year.
So here's my thoughts on that. I would love to have more tracking than just a couple hours a day, and I know we're in wintertime. Summertime's going to be better. If you look at this tracker here, this is the one I'm going to start constructing tomorrow. You can see with the 6 solar panels on it, it's 3.9 grams. So what I would like to do, not on this next launch, but maybe the next one, I want to go overboard. I want to go real radical on the next one. And what I want to do is this. I want to, on your tracker, you've got your top solar panel, and basically it gets sun from from above. And of course, we know the sun is very low in the winter. So what I want to do is take a very light round. I've got these 2 cells paralleled here, and it's kind of omnidirectional. And I played with it out in the sun, and it looks like it's functioning pretty good. And I want to put that underneath. In other words, you got your top cell that's not going to pick up the sun, but maybe a few hours a day. But underneath, if I can put that on there, underneath, And even if that thing has a little bit of a tilt to it, I mean, it seems like the sun is still going to hit it from the sides, where it's not going to hit that top cell. And if this board doesn't, I don't know how much yet this board pulls in current, but if the board is very small current, I think this might work to get that low angle. This could almost get you from sunrise to sunset, possibly. I mean, that's my theory.
You would probably have to put a supercapacitor on that, because you'll have the equivalent of one cell or less
yeah,
towards the sun.
Well, they'll all be paralleled. I mean, if the top one's getting a little bit, the bottom one will be paralleled with it. So, you'll get a little bit from both maybe, but there's going to be times where the top one's not going to have anything, and you're right, you'll be working from one cell. And I haven't quite decided yet if this is if the sun is actually facing the split. And here's the split between the two, and they're paralleled, minus, minus, plus, plus. If the sun is hitting it right here to split, it's actually going to hit half of one and half the other. I'm not sure what that does. Maybe that equals one. I don't know.
You're also hitting it as a curve, so you're probably not going to be the equivalent of one complete cell.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 0.7 of a cell. So what you'd want to do is see if you can run your entire board, sit that in the window or outside, and hook that up to your board and see if it'll power it.
Yeah, and that's what tomorrow I start building. And again, I held this up. People didn't know what it was on the show. Here's what I'll be starting on tomorrow. I had the boards made. There's a postage stamp. There's the complete Whisper tracker, and that's the solar panel below it. And this thing is small, but again,
you'll have to use 5 of those solar.
Well, we'll use 6 of them. We'll use 6 solar panels, 3 on each side. 3 on each side, and it'll look like this right here. They're so tiny. I mean, I couldn't believe how small they were when I opened the box. It's like, what are these? They look like a box of razor blades. I mean, that's how small.
And be careful that you can break them very easily.
I've already broken the first one. I put the meter on it to test the voltage. It's doing pretty good with light from a fluorescent light in here, but it broke. But I ordered 100 of them, so I can break some of them. Now, what I want to do, Bill, and let me ask you about this. You can help me here. Let me get you back on here. What I want to do is I'm going to I hear all this about UV can destroy these things and so forth. I don't know if it's true or not, but what I want to do is I want to put 3 cells out, hook them up, 3 cells on a board, and I've got some Cryline that UV clear, won't yellow, all that, and I'm going to spray 3 of these, and then I'm going to put 3 out of here. I don't put the UV spray on. Now, I imagine that's going to increase the weight probably double.
It'll increase the weight, and it could knock down your solar efficiency too.
Well, and that's what that's what I want to try. I want to put that. I'll have 2 identical setups, one with the protect UV on it and one without it, and I'll take my voltmeter and a load, and I'll do some testing to see if it actually, if the UV stuff actually causes any issue. But yeah, I guess winter is kind of a difficult time to launch. Would you say summer is better? But then you get storms, right?
Well, the spring is actually right about now is your best time to launch if you can find a nice calm weather day that's sunny, and that's the tricky part, because your best winds right now in the jet stream are screaming along at 200 knots. In fact, a commercial jetliner just set the world record from New York to London because they hit that tailwind. Mm-hmm. So that would be a good time. You could actually go completely around the world in less than 2 weeks. Maybe even 11 days or less.
So with a lot of misery and grief and a lot of rework, there's only about $30 worth of parts on this board. So I can launch one of these every single month. But I can't afford these $200 balloons every month. So we're going to try the Chinese balloon. Our friend Edurard YO3ICT in Romania. This is his board. I'm sorry.
I think it's YO3ICT.
Well, his call now is YO9, but the board says YO3 on it. YO3ICT, but his email is YO9ICT. So he's changed, I think, a couple times. But he's the one that designed this board, and it's helping me to put this together. And of course, this has that secondary data channel like you use to send the other data, the second transmission where you can get latitude, longitude, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's whisper only. If it'll do that, I'm happy with that. I
believe that board uses the Silicon Radio chip, the SI5351.
Yep, it does.
Chip.
It does.
And now that'll put out about 10 to 12 milliwatts. So that's not a whole lot of signal, but it's amazing in whisper mode just how far 10 or 12 milliwatts
I think that's what that QRP board was that we launched, and we were getting whisper from Africa. I mean, it was being picked up,
yeah, my board puts out about 25 milliwatts, and I was heard on one flight. I was over the middle of the Atlantic, and I had telemetry, a complete transmission, both transmissions picked up on 20-meter whisper in Perth, Australia, almost exactly on the opposite side of the world. So that's the amazing thing about that whisper mode.
Well, here's what I can't stand. I thought APRS was just great, but man, when it goes over the ocean, when it goes over Africa and the Middle East, and there's 10 days, you don't know what's happening, I pull my hair out. So that's why we wanted whisper in addition to APRS. But
now, with all these boats, the commercial boat traffic in the Atlantic and the Pacific, it would be great to get a hold of some of the maritime mobile hams and see if they can put some APRS stations on these freighters. But I'm with you. It's even though it's more difficult to launch a whisper balloon due to the length of the antenna wire. I mean, I can launch one of these APRS Pico balloons in upwards of 15 to 20 knot winds, but the whisper boards really have to have a very calm day due to that long magnet wire antenna.
Yeah, and like somebody told me, if you try to launch the big balloon like we launched, they said even if the wind's blowing 2 or 3 miles an hour, it feels like you're in a hurricane. And it's interesting there for sure. So, gonna start on this tomorrow. Wish us luck on the thing, special things, tweezers and stuff. I'm gonna show them a minute some of the stuff we had to get to do this. You got any other plans for any launches coming up soon?
Probably going to do an elementary school in Madison. It's called West Madison Elementary School in Madison, Alabama. It's near Huntsville, and we're going to have some second graders there. We're going to talk about the NASA Space Launch System rocket and the Artemis mission to the moon, and then we're going to cap it off by launching a Pico balloon. So that'll be a lot of fun, and even at that grade level, they're excited about space and science and launching their own little mini satellite. And many of them will still have smartphones and tablets they can follow it on. And if you ever need to have somebody work on your cell phone or a computer or a laptop, ask a second grader. They'll probably fix it right up for you.
While I was in Orlando, in your forum, Melissa Puri, KM4CZN, was in your forum. She is the recipient of the Carol Perry Award this year.
Oh.
And she actually is a member now of the ARIS team for education, for amateur radio on the space station. In fact, I think it's her 6th grade or 9th grade in school. They actually built a CubeSat and launched it. It was launched. This is an elementary school. She always wanted to be an astronaut. I saw her again and talked to her at length at the chairman's dinner on Saturday night, and she was just, we're going to have her on the show here soon, and she was so excited about the balloons and space and all the things. She's in Virginia, and she's restricted to a 1,000 foot high altitude tethered balloon because of restricted airspace. So she's really interested and excited about this. I think she may be designing some of her own trackers too. Very smart lady. We'll try to get her on.
Great.
Here. We'll try to get her on here soon. All right, let's get on.
I wanted to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to mention there's another event coming up on Leap Day, February 29th in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's New Mexico Tech Fest, and it's going to be a bunch of technical discussions about ham radio and advancement of ham radio, and I'm giving a talk via Skype during that session as well. It's if you search for New Mexico Tech Fest, you'll be able to find information on it. And they're going to plan to do a Pico balloon launch during their lunch hour at the Tech Fest.
Okay, cool. All right, hey, Bill, let me take a quick break here, and then I want to show some of the little things that I bought that's going to allow me to try to put this stuff together. And we're going to talk about that, and you can chime in and talk about it and what you do and what I've got here and so forth. So we'll be back in just a minute, guys, and we will continue our balloon discussion here.
Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multifunction backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion that has base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers. It's a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds. It has RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. It also has a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with a live band scope and waterfall. Other features include 5 watts with the BP272, 10 watts with 13.8 volts DC. It also has sideband CW AM FM as well as full D-Star functionality. It has a micro USB connector and Bluetooth capability, integrated GPS with antenna and a GPS logger. It has a micro SD card slot. The speaker microphone comes standard, and it supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional backpack, the LC192, with a special compartment for your IC705, and it has room for accessories for soda, activations, or just a day in the park. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Mail away, we're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
Okay, guys, we are back. I'm going to switch cameras here and show you a few things that I got that's going to help, I think. So let me see with the camera. Let's see if this camera here is going to. That camera there might work okay. So let me go over to the Workbench, and we're going to talk about some of the things that I've ordered here to try to make our job easier. So we're over at the Workbench. We're over at the Workbench now, and let me show you just a few things here. Look at this. When I got these in the mail, I thought they forgot to put them in the envelope. They're so small. That's the boards. These solar
Where
cells
did you get the birds made, by the way, Tom?
what, OSH?
Oh, OSH Park.
Yeah, OSH Park. 100 solar cells.
Yeah.
About $10 for 100 solar cells. So if I don't break 20, I still have 80 left. So again, here's the tracker board. This is two-sided. It has the GPS whisper. It does not have APRS. So here we go. I'm going to show you the microscope that I ordered, got in today. Let's see if I can show you this. So here's a little small board here. I don't know what it came out of. It looks like it's a USB something. And you can see it's got some, won't even focus. It's got some really small parts on it. So I'm going to put it right here. And we're going to bring it up here on the scope here. Look at this. How do you like that right there, man? I mean, it will.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, you can. It's got focus on it, and you can bring it up and down. This scope here actually has a tilt. You can actually tilt it. Look at that. It'll tilt back almost 90 degrees. So I've got enough room underneath here to solder. It's neat. It's got a couple little lights here that you can see that will help to illuminate the thing. And I think the lights are off. I'm not sure how to turn them on. It comes with a remote control. I don't even know what the remote control does, to tell you the truth. Haven't played with it enough. You can record audio and video. For instance, if I was working on this, I could actually narrate what I was doing and talk about it. Light. Well, haven't learned how to work it yet. Like I said, I just got it in, but this is going to allow me, I think, to do some soldering on the little small boards right here.
I thought you were going to be just 30 minutes.
All right. So a couple of other things. Let me show you another couple of things here. I had to order some tweezers. Your standard tweezers that you do your eyebrows with. They're just not going to hack it. So, gotta get this camera set. My cameraman's not here. So, hey, I ordered me a little kit here. This is for assembling a very small surface mount electronic stuff. It's a Velcro case, and look kind of like a lockpick set, But there you go. You got all the different tweezers in here. So let's just take this tweezer here. This is a number 15, ESD 15, and you can see this thing is really small. I don't know where I can hold it. But I'll have to hold some little flea-sized capacitors and resistors with this tweezer, hold it on the board, and then tack it in and solder it. Now I've got a fairly good soldering iron, I guess. Here it's temperature controlled right here. I also have a rework station. This is a rework station right here. And it has, it does the heat. This is it blows the hot air, and you can actually you can remove components just by blowing the hot air, on the components here, and that part will just come right off. Also, you'll be able to, and I'm going to try this, Bill. I don't know if you've had any luck with it or not. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube about people soldering these 40-pin chips, and it looks pretty easy. But I've ordered some solder paste, and you've talked about this a while ago. A guy put some solder paste on something he built, and he forgot to heat it up. I guess he thought it was like epoxy, but this is kind of neat. This it comes in a little syringe, and it's got a very little. It's like a needle tip, and what you'll do is basically you'll just put that solder paste on every little pin, that 40 pin chip with that little needle, and then carefully lay in your chip on top of that, get it positioned. And then you take your heat gun right there and you heat it, and it's amazing how that dark solder paste will actually turn silver, and it turns right into solder, and it solders it right in place. So another technique people use is the drag. They take a pretty wide tip with just a little bit of solder, and they'll drag it across, say, 11 pins, just drag it. And if you got flux on there correctly, it pretty much doesn't cause any solder bridges. It just kind of sticks to the things here. So that's something that I'm going to try. I'm going to try the heat on I'll probably use the soldering iron on the smaller chip capacitors and resistors, but on the other chips that got like 40 pins, I'll probably try to use the solder paste. I ordered a little soldering iron off of Amazon. It comes with a whole lot of tips, very small tips, and you know, it plugs directly. Look at this, it plugs directly into the wall, and you might think, well, you know, I want a temperature controlled. And again, if you look at this one, it is temperature control here, but it's a big box, and if you had to carry it somewhere, you have to carry all that with you. So look at this. This one is also temperature controlled, and it's all done right from the handle here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me turn it on. Reads the temperature and everything. You can bump the temperature up and down with the buttons, and it's a pretty neat little iron right there, to tell you the truth. And you know what? This was about $30. And I think it'll be perfect for doing a lot of the surface mount stuff we have here. Another thing is going to be important.
Who makes that? Who made that rework?
The rework I've got, the rework I've got is well, it's called TENMA. Timma. That's the rework.
Yeah,
that's the rework station. That's the rework.
And the heat gun you just showed?
Well, this other one's not a heat gun. It's actually a soldering iron. This is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this
Who
little
makes that one? Is that a Weller or is that?
No, it's got a brand of BAYKA, Baika, but it's thermostat controlled, and you can actually control it from the thing here. It's very cheap, $30. The tips change just like on the other one. In fact, I think they're interchangeable, and I think it's going to work out real well for me. Soldering paste is important. I think to have soldering paste on all that stuff. If you watch the videos, you take just like a toothpick, and you put, it looks like you put about 5 gallons of soldering paste on a connection, but you really don't. The microscope makes it look like that. So you just kind of cover it right here.
Tom, just a suggestion on that solder paste, you have to refrigerate it, and
Yes.
Walmart had a little tiny refrigerator around Christmas time, and they still may. It was designed to hold a couple of cans of soda. It's perfect for that.
Oh, okay.
And you want to keep it around 40 or 50 degrees.
Okay.
Otherwise it loses its effectivity after a few weeks.
Well,
and also you don't want to put very much on a connection. If you put too much, you're going to end up with bridges, solder bridges.
Right.
So
just a little dab.
if you dab on big, just a little dab will do you.
A little dab will do you, and people probably my age understand what that is, but probably most of our watchers don't know what that is, right? A little dab will do you. Wasn't it some type of a hair tonic or something?
I think that was Real Cream or something.
Yeah,
but,
Real Cream. Some kind of hair.
Now when they do, when you do reflow soldering, and if you want to do it semi-professionally, you can order, when you order your circuit boards, you can order a stencil.
Yeah.
And a little squeegee comes with it, and you can squeegee on the solder paste and use a toaster oven to do a reflow solder job on the entire board.
Yeah, I've looked at that.
There's a lot of plans out there how to do that and set up a controller for different toaster ovens. I have to leave here in a few minutes,
Okay.
Tom, so I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody, and it's been great being on the show tonight.
Well, hey, Bill, glad to have you. I was going to try to end the show about 9. It's 9:05 now. I'll stay on just a few more minutes, but we're glad to have you tonight. And you're the true master of high altitude balloons, and we need you. We're going to need you a lot here in the future. I'm learning. You know, I'm wanting to become independent, where I can launch my own balloons and hydrogen without blowing myself up and all that. And I've learned a lot over the year with you, and I really appreciate all the things that you've shared with us. Thank you so much.
Well,
and,
you made it all the way to the Azores on your first flight, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's an
and
accomplishment.
then we had one party balloon and went all the way to Japan, and it went down in Japan. I thought it was going to make it, to tell you the truth. Okay, well, hey, just one last thing. I don't know what this is, Bill. It's a little USB ASP or whatever you call it. It's to program.
Program it.
It's the program. That's USB plugs in your PC, and this will hook. This will actually hook to. This will actually, with a little header that we will solder on the board here, and this plug will actually plug in. This will plug into there for programming, and then we'll take the header off of this to make it lighter. So
I can show you what I use, and it's a very innovative thing that doesn't allow a header.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for the Atmel processors, but it's made by Olimex.
Let me put you on here. Hang on one sec. All right, I got you on. What is that you use?
I use an Olimex programmer. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's got a little ribbon cable that. This is a USB, and then there's a ribbon cable made by T-Tech, I think, and that plugs into this Olimex, and then it's got pogo plugs on the end, and see, that comes off, and that spring loads. You just push it onto the board, program it, you pull it off, and you don't have to have a header on the board.
Yeah.
You just have to have 6 little teeny pads on the board. And at the top there, you'll see my pads right there. That's my programming port. Mm-hmm. It's just little circuit pads. So that pogo plug plugs on there, and you don't have to have the weight associated with a header.
Well, all right, Bill, thanks so much. I know you got to run there. Appreciate you coming on with us tonight, talking balloons.
Yes, I've definitely enjoyed it.
We'll see you again soon.
We're happy to help out with any advice for your upcoming flight. I look forward to seeing that in the air. Yeah,
and I may be contacting you too. All right, 73 to you. We'll see you later. Good night.
All right, 73 is off.
All right, so guys, that's kind of where we are with, the balloons we've launched and where we're trying to go next. And our next flight is going to be a simple pre-stretched, pre-tested balloon. Our friend Edurard in Romania, YO3ICT, tested it and stretched it. The first one he tested, I don't know if it blew up, it just leaked. I mean, the thing about these Chinese balloons, these Chinese $3, $1 balloons, is that out of maybe 5 balloons, you may only have 1 that will pass quality control. So when you fill this thing up and you send it off, it might stay up 4 hours and leak out. So it's good to learn how to pre-test it. It requires some equipment to measure the pressure outside and inside, and then you pre-stretch it, and you take a hair dryer and you heat the balloon up, and you stretch that balloon and make sure it holds its gas inside. So he sent me a balloon. It's on its way here. So our next balloon is going to be the $3 Chinese balloon, but we hope to fly the little 1.5 gram tracker. We probably will be flying at about 36,000 feet with it. Those little balloons don't do much. They don't go very high. Now, the SBS we launched, it was supposed to fly 43 to 45,000, and that's what we were shooting for, higher altitude. That's the reason we picked hydrogen. On hydrogen, we'll get about 3,000 feet more than we will with helium. But our balloon is lost. We don't know where it is. I'm not going to give it up yet. Our friend's balloon was silent for 94 days, and last week it came back out, and over Canada. It reported one day over Canada, and then now we haven't heard from it since last week. So I'm sure it's the low sun angle at the high area, on Earth that's so far up there it's dark most of the time. So I do want to experiment on this, not this next one where we use a party balloon, but I may consider going again with an SBS 13 if we can. It will get expensive if you keep buying $200 balloons, but I really want to try to get another SBS 13 balloon and put the extra solar panels on there where we can actually have voltage from sunrise to sunset instead of just a few hours per day. And I want to try to push the limits. I want to try to beef it up and see what we can do. So that balloon is big enough that it can handle an extra solar cell or two, and that's our plan there. So anyway, hey, thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. Glad we had you. Don't forget our net next Tuesday. We have the 40-meter net at 5:30 p.m. Central Time every Tuesday night before the show. Send us an email. Hey, if you're new, I'd like to know, we got any new people? I know it's the end of the show, but if you're new, first-timers, tell us in the chat room that this was your first time here. Be sure to join our Facebook group, W5KUB Facebook. We have almost 9,000 members, ham radio members in that Facebook group. A lot of people ask me to be friends on Facebook. Don't get upset. I don't approve anybody on my personal Facebook other than maybe just some close family. If I approved everybody on my Facebook that is in our W5KUB, I would have 9,000 people in there, and I don't want 9,000 people in my personal Facebook group. But you can always find me on W5KUB group in Facebook. 73 to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and come back with us next week. Spread the word about the show, and we'll see you later.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.